Kia ora Year 9. This video is going to look at how we multiply two fractions together. The first one I'm going to start with is this one here. 1/2 times 1/4. So we want to think about what that means in plain English, and times typically means of. So this is saying work out 1/2 of 1/4. So as in the last video, I'm going to start with drawing a block of chocolate, a rectangular block of chocolate, and we're going to divide it into quarters. So there we go, there's 1/4. If we want to find 1/2 of 1/4, we're going to divide that again. Now we can think about doing that to each of the quarters. This means that we've divided the chocolate into 8 pieces, right? And 1/2 of one of those quarters is going to be this one here. So that works out to be 1/8. Let's try another one and look for a pattern. Let's this time try and find 3/4 of 1/2. So here's my chocolate block broken into 2 pieces, right? So 1/2 is this piece here. Let's now work out what happens if we divide each half into 4. We're looking for 3/4 of 1/2. So we want 1, 2, 3 of those 4 pieces. Altogether, that means we've got 3 pieces out of 8 pieces. So this one is 3/8. So you're probably already seeing the simple way that we can multiply fractions together. And that is that we multiply the numerator and we multiply the denominator. So multiplication of fractions is a really easy operation. On the next slide, there are 3 for you to practice. Okay, so try and do those in your book, and I'll go pause the video and then I'll go through them. Okay, so question 3, 2/3 of 4/5 is 8/15. So take a look at that, see if you can simplify it by taking out any common factors. We can't, because factors of 8 are just 1, 2, 4 and 8. Factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5 and 15. Right, there's absolutely no need to do that in written form, but you should be doing that in your head. Now let's look at the next one. First I'm going to do this the difficult way with extra thinking. So if we multiply the top, we get 4/17 is 68, and here we get 5/8 of 40. And now we've got to think about how to simplify. So we can divide the numerator and the denominator by 4, and we'll get 17 divided by 10. And that's the same as 1 7/10. Well, let's look at whether there was an easier, faster way to do that. Well, if we look here at 4 times 17 and 5 times 8, so I could instead have written that as 17 times 4 over 5 times 8. So the order doesn't matter. And if you write it like that, you're probably going to notice that 4 and 8 have got a common factor of 4. So I can divide the top and bottom by 4 way back at the first step of the problem. So I'm going to do that down here. So 4/5 times 17 over 8. Instead of ever having to work out 68, I'm just going to simplify like this. Divide that by 4 and that by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. That leaves me with 17 over 10 directly. Now it's absolutely fine to do that. In fact, it's a good, efficient strategy. And it's okay to do this notation here with the crossing out. Okay, try and keep it tidy in your book, but you don't have to write out a whole separate line there. I'm going to take a new slide to do the last question, because it brings us on to the order in which we do operations, which we've covered a little bit in class. Okay, so question 5 was 2/3 times 1/2 plus 5/6 times 9/8. Now, we've already discussed briefly this rule called BEDMAS. This tells us the order in which we have to do things. And you'll notice that the division and multiplication happen before addition and subtraction. So when we're doing this calculation, we're going to work out this, and then we're going to work out this. We're going to do it all in one flow of working, not with separate little bits somewhere else on the page. So 2/3 times a half, well, let's do our simplification trick. We can see that 2 over 2 is just 1. So the first one is just 1/3. And the second one, we've got 5/6 of 9/8. So let's take a look here. We can divide these two by 3. And now we get 5 times 3 is 15 over 16. We've got one more step to do. We have to use the skills from the earlier video on adding fractions. So my common denominator here is going to be 48. In fact, I'm going to do that in 2 lines. So let's just keep that as 2 separate fractions while we're getting used to it. So 1/3 is equal to 16 over 48, and 15/16 is equal to 45 over 48. So let's look at where that came from. Well, what did we do to the 3 to get 48? We multiplied it by 16. So we have to do the same thing to the 1 multiplied by 16. What did we do to 16 to get 48? Well, we timesed it by 3. Therefore, we have to times 15 by 3 to keep the fraction equivalent. Now that we've got the same denominator, we can add them up. So 16 plus 45 gives me 61. I need to check quickly whether there are any common factors in there, but there aren't. So we can think about what are the factors of 48. One that's worth checking, well, they're all worth checking. Let's have a quick think. So 1, 2, lots of factors of 48, 3, 4, 6, 8, and so on. But we can just check, is 2 a factor of 61? No. Is 3 a factor of 61? No, it's not, because 60 is a multiple of 3. 61's only 1 bigger, so it can't be. 4 can't be a factor, neither can 6, neither can 8, and we could keep on going. But this is the simplest form for that one. It's nice to write it as a mixed number, so it will be 1 whole 1 and 13 out of 48. Okay, that's enough for now. You can find some to practice in the textbook, and I can show you some in class. Thanks for watching.